Welcome, people, to another episode of Big Mike and Little Ant. This is episode 15. So we're keeping it moving on our Big Mike and Little Ant channel. Of course, we're going to bring you some incredible topics today. We will discuss and debate, laugh, and cry and have fun about all of them because there's some at the end that we probably will cry about. Also, when I introduce ourselves, we are the hosts together on our channel. I'm Big Mike.
And I'm Little Ant. And no, I was just gonna tell him I apologize for the scary scenery, but I'm a big fan of Halloween, and October is the Halloween month, so gotta have my creepy backdrop.
Cool. And I hope you guys been watching everything on our channel. There's recently my football show Beyond the Trenches, episode 3 went up a few days ago. Episode 4 will be out this week, so we're keeping that moving. We're gonna try to find something to review for you guys, movie wise, and also coming this week will be an episode of review for episodes 6 and 7 of The Boys. So got a lot of stuff coming, a lot of stuff done already. So please enjoy the channel. So let's get right into it, brother. You ready?
Yeah, man, I'm ready. So, why
don't you start? This was your topic. The first one.
Yeah, and hold me to it too. I gotta tell my story about the dealership, so don't let me forget.
Okay.
All right.
So, you want to do that first, or first get it out the way?
Yeah, let's get it out the way. All right, guys. All right. So, here's my thing. I have an older car I bought. It'll be 2 years in December, and I bought it for just $1,000, right? Reason why I bought it because I was leasing the vehicle, and when I started the MC, I was running out of my miles so fast because I was driving a lot, right? So I returned my car in March, but it was supposed to be returned in July. So that's how much I was driving that I had to return it that many months early. So what I did was I bought a used car for $1,000 in December. So I had 2 cars for a couple months, decided, you know what, this used car is actually pretty good, so I'm going to keep it, get rid of, or return the new car, right? The lease. So had it for a while. It was fine, barely ever did anything. I recently, less than 2 months ago, bought 4 brand new tires, got a new battery, but then about a month ago, I started having issues where it feels like it's out of gas. So like as you're driving, it's kind of like feeling like it want to stop. And then sometimes it just won't start. Like you turn it, it's cranking, it won't start. So it almost have 2 issues where I feel like it's the battery or the gas. Sometimes you start it start up and shut right off. Anyway, took it to one mechanic. He had it for over a week, and he replaced the fuel line. Still was doing it. He replaced the crankshaft sensor. Still was doing it. Like everything, just nothing he could figure out. So eventually, I went to barely made it to work, but it made it to work. Got out of work one day, couldn't start it, had to get towed, called him. He said, listen, I can't figure out what's wrong with your car. You got to take it to somebody else. So I know a good buddy of mine's, his name is Ronnie Hines. He does cars. He worked on exotic cars. I mean, when I went there, he had a 69 Cobra that he just rebuilt the engine. So he's a great mechanic. I called him. He said, dude, I can fix anything. Bring it to me. Took the car to him, left it there. He said, yeah, I think I got figured it out. Then the next day, it wouldn't start. So he called me and said, give me another day with it and, let me mess with it again, right? So granted, he's not going to be cheap like the guy that I take the car to, where he just say, whatever you want, I'll replace. You could go buy the parts, whatever. Ronnie's, a high-grade mechanic. He's going to do his due diligence, everything. It's not going to be cheap. So after a couple of days, he's like, dude, I don't know what to say, but I don't know what's wrong with your car. I can't really figure it out. And he was like, there's only 3 cars ever that I couldn't fix. Your car is one of them. I replaced, he replaced the camshaft sensor. There was a wire that wasn't grounded. So he regrounded it. That was connected to transmission. He couldn't figure it out. So he said, listen, I got a friend of mine. He's the best mechanic I know. Let me keep your car for one more day. I'll take it to him, let him check it out. And if he can't figure it out, I don't know what to say. So that's fair. So he hit me up the next day or 2 days later and said, listen, it's the EMC. So it's the engine control module. So this thing that's why it sometimes feel like it's the battery. Sometimes it feel like it's the gas. It controls your battery. It controls your fuel pump. It controls a bunch of things, right? So, but I already owe him for the work he did, right? Already paid money to the other guy. And he's like, he's like, listen, the parts alone is going to be around $700. with what you already did. But I can't tell you what the labor is going to be because this is extensive. It got a bunch of wires. It could be quick. I could be like, oh, that's the issue. Swap it out, recode it, or reprogram, because it's pretty much the brain of your car. Or I could, you know, it might take a long time. So I'm like, I only paid $1,000 for this car. I'm not willing to spend like $1,000 on one job, you know, straight up. So anyway, the whole time I was looking into dealerships. So I was contacting the Kia dealership. It's right by my house. We got like the Kia car lot at my house. I bought 5 cars from Kia already, right? So whether it was a Kia car or not, but I got the last like 5, or I guess 4 cars from Kia. So I've been texting them back and forth, and they're like, you know, you should come in. I'm like, I'm trying to see what's up with my car. Now, this was when my car was at the other shop, right? So anyway, at the same time, I said my next car would be a Camaro because I just like the body style of Camaro. I'm not a car guy, but I like the way the Camaros look after Transformers came out. So actually, there was a dealership I was in touch with as well that they had a Camaro. So the price seemed kind of right, but it was manual shift. I always said I never want to go back to manual because I want to drive and eat McDonald's at the same time. So anyway, long story short, I finally tell the dealership, all right, the Kia dealership, all right, look, Saturday, I'm at least come down and check out what you have. I want to get a used car. I'm not trying to spend listen, my whole thing is I got a car that's paid for. Either I'm going to suck it up, spend the $700 or whatever, or I'm going to go to the dealership, and if I get it payments like under $200, which is kind of asking for a lot nowadays, but listen, if y'all got something that works in my budget, I might drive out. So anyway, I had picked my car up, and my car was able to drive me home the night before. So I drove my car to the dealership just in case I want to trade it in, right? And it started, so I took it there. Because the issue is sometimes it won't start, or if it does start, sometimes when you drive it, it shuts off while you're driving, right? So sometimes it just drives smooth. When I picked it up that night, it drove smooth. Anyway, get to the dealership, look at a bunch of stuff, try to tell the guy, listen, bro, you're not going to sell me. Just, I'm talking monthly payments. If you get something that work in under $200, I'm good. I don't care if I lease it. I don't care if I buy it. Just show me what you got. So he's showing me 2021 Kia Fortes, showing me this, showing me that. So show me used stuff that's not even Kia, like stuff that you have that's used. He was showing me like a Mazda, a bunch of stuff, right? So I'm like, I'm so could just spend. And my wife's like, listen, I work from home. You could take my car. You don't need a new car. You've been driving my car. I've been dropping you off to work. It's not necessary. Anyway, so long story short, I decide, all right, I think I want to show me this, show me that. Now I have a buddy of mine that work at the, he's a finance manager at a car dealership, right, in Philly. So whenever I go buy a car, I call him. He look, and he's always telling me, look, what's the numbers? And then sometimes he's like, put the guy on the phone. I'll even talk to him because he's always told me that dealerships are supposed to make money. That's fine. But it's a thing called an MSRP, and they can make way more money than they need to. If they're telling you they're giving you a deal, you just want to know, are they really giving you a deal? So his actually was in my wedding too. We're really close. So he's like my go-to guy. Like the last couple cars we bought, we called him at the dealership. Even my wife's mom bought a car. She called him at the dealership and got a lot more money off. Like that, that's just what he do. He look at contracts all day. He's my guy in my pocket.
I'm definitely gonna need his information at some point.
Yeah, I mean, literally, like he's my guy. Like when I'm talking to the salesperson, I'm like, listen, you ever seen the show Let's Make It, or Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? They're like, yeah. They're like, well, you know how you got a lifeline? You always got one person to call to answer a question. Well, I just gotta call my guy, and usually he's like, dude, let me talk to him. Put him on the phone. Well, anyway, he told me like this would be a good deal, right? And I settled on a specific deal, right? So, which was going to be, I was going to get a car for 3 years. My payments was going to be $215 because he said $219. I said, no, let's make it $215, and you got me. So $215 a month, and you know, my buddy told me, make sure whatever you do, if you get the lease, you want 15,000 miles a year. So anyway, they made the deal the way I wanted. So I'm signing paperwork, whatever, trading my car. They can give me $1,000 for my car. All right, fine. That's cool, right? So we get to the finance manager, and they're going over stuff. And the guy's like, yeah, so 48 months. I'm like, whoa. Your guy said 36 months. 48 months would be 4 years. I said, I want to agree to that. So he was like, no, this car doesn't have 36 months. It's only 48 months. So maybe that was a confusion. I was like, nobody ever said 48 months. So, you know, when you just feel like we got there at 10 and it was like 5 something at this point. I was like, man, whatever. So I signed the deal and everything, right? And then he even was like, oh, you could get some extra warranty, pay just $2 a month. And if somebody rear ends you, then we could give you an extra $3,000 on another car, whatever. So I leave, and then it just didn't sit well. So I called my friend Justin. I was like, yo, I told him what happened. He was like, no, what they did is they got you. He was like, if nobody ever said 48 months, he was like, you know, technically you can't return the car. However, this is what you can tell the dealership. First of all, dealerships never win in court. So, and you didn't give them the title to your car yet. So this is what you're going to do. Go back there, said, I'm not giving you my title. I'm going to call my credit card company and cancel the $1,000 deposit. And I'm just going to leave this car here and I'm not making the payments. He was like, they're going to do something for you because they're going to take such a loss. They don't win in court. You'll be able to fight it. So he was like, I'll call them. So I show up and the guy just flipped on me like, oh, you got your friend calling up here trying to threaten us about calling the state police. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. First of all, I wasn't on the phone, so I don't know what he said, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't acting like that. Oh, yes, he was. So anyway, the guy was like, oh, you signed it. I was like, I did sign it. I was like, but you never said 48 months. We was talking about the Kia Forte, and then you said, I said, well, what if I got another car? You said, look, I could get you in a different car for the same thing, but make it 215. I was like, even when I went back there, it wasn't 215, it was like 220. He was like, huh? I was like, yeah. He was like, oh, well, maybe something got mixed up with the taxes or something. I was like, and you never said 48 months. He was like, no, but you signed it. I was like, dude, I'll give you this. Yes. And the other guy was like, oh, I'm holding you to your word. You signed it, doesn't matter. I was like, oh, you could say that. I was like, but even the sales guy, he's a cool guy, black guy. We was like laughing, joking. When I was leaving, I was like, oh, I guess that's how they get you. They just went to 48 months. He was like, what? So I was, not to put him on blast, I was like, even Keith said, you know, they did say 36 months. So they was like, well, you got your guy calling up here. I said, listen, he's looking out for my best interest. Well, buddy, he's making it worse. I'm like, listen, man, look. So he was like, look, this is what we do. We're going to make the same thing for the 220. I said, no, no, no. I was like, you looked me in my eyes and said 215. So the other guy was like, huh? I was like, yeah, if you make it for 215, 3 years, I'm good. So, and then Sandy, and it was cool because Sandy was like, yo, hold on. And we was calm, but we was like, no. So the guy was like, all right, all right, all right. And I was like, and I don't want that warranty thing. Because what happened was the guy said, if you pay extra $2 a month, my buddy, we texted him, we took pictures of the contract. So he looked at the contract and said, well, this is how they're getting you also. They said $2 a month for 36 months, or well, the 48 months would have been like $97. They're getting you for $195. So they actually added on stuff. He said it's a certain thing they do where you don't know. He was like, and no one knows how to look at a contract. So he was like, first of all, you could use that against them because they clearly lied to you and had you sign saying $2 a month and it's more. So when I brought that up, they was like, all right, all right. So then they calmed down. They was willing. And then I walked out with the sweet deal. And then to make it so bad, I told them from the beginning, my car has some issues. So when I was leaving, they had pulled my old car out and my old car broke down at the stop sign. So as I was driving away in the new car, I drove past them as they was broken down. I'm like, man, anyway, that's my quick story. I want to tell it on here so years later I could look back and refresh my mind on what actually happened. But it was crazy.
Bro, a lot to unpack there, bro.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. Any questions you could ask me about that?
Like I said, a lot to unpack. Yeah, that's crazy. So, first of all, like I said, I need this guy's information, or at least he can call you when I'm buying a car or whatever.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
my dude,
so
man.
That's pretty good. Secondly, I know Sandy, so I can imagine how she was.
Yeah, it was cool because it's so weird. Sandy's like, she have moments where she could be mellow and she could fit in with everybody, but then she was like, yo, this was like the most I seen her like, no. First of all, it was cool, you know, because I was it was like good cop, bad cop. I was the good cop, she was the bad cop. And for a woman, so it was kind of cool, you know?
Yeah. Secondly, you say you bought 4 or 5 cars from there?
Yeah, so my mom used to go to the Flemington Kia dealership, Fred Bean's Flemington Kia. So when I went to buy a car, I don't even know what year, she was like, come to this dealership. So I went to the dealership. I bought my Suzuki XL7. It was a 7-passenger car because I had my kids and Sandy's kids when we all first started dating, right? We bought that. Then we bought Sandy's HHR, right? Then we bought, then I traded my car in eventually and I got, oh, no, not the Optima yet. I had something else after the Optima. Maybe it wasn't from Kia. That's crazy. Wait. Well, I got it. So you got the HHR, you got my XL7, you got the Optima. Then I got then Sandy got Yeah, well, when that one car was dying, or I got rid of it, I thought I traded in for something. Anyway, so let me tell you the cars. I know I had another car in between there that wasn't from them, but
Gotcha.
or maybe it was before that. Anyway, actually, I got a video of all my cars I bought. I was gonna make one big video, but anyway. So yeah, I got my XL7. I got Sandy got her HHR. Then I got a Kia Optima from them. Then Sandy got her Kia Rio she have now, and then I just got a Kia Rio as well. So that's 5 Kia cars right there, and I feel like I'm missing something. But anyway, that's 5 right there. You know.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy, bro. Yeah,
Not to mention, my brother bought his BMW from them. My mom bought her Nissan from them. So we bought, and my sister bought a car from them. So we bought so many cars from their dealership. But that was a different dealership that was in Flemington. What happened was they changed that from a Kia to a Nissan dealership. So now, so I even called them first, but they don't have any used cars or anything. So the Kia dealership is right by my house. It's like 5 minutes from my house. So I figured, and we was going there to get oil changes and stuff. So I figured, all right, I'll take my business there. I'm not going to not go there, but I just know that, you know what, pay attention to everything on the contract because they'll try to get you if they can. And I just think that's the Anyway, that's my story. Sorry that it took a little bit, but I wanted to get it out there, and I want to hear your little feedback on it as well, because you know we.
I wasn't done. But yeah, I think that's crazy. Yeah, make sure you do pay attention before you sign it. They will try to get you, bro, and stuff like that. And it's crazy. You said they gave you $1,000 for your car, right? But you paid $1,000 for it 2 years ago, so you kind of like didn't pay anything for your car at the end of the day. So that's dope too. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So. Yeah, see, I always look at that type of factor. But even that, before that, $1,000 for your car and getting 2 years out of it is great for $1,000. You know, that's
awesome.
That's
true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, you paying $500 a year for your car.
Yeah.
Like that's not.
I can't complain. You know? I mean, it just started having issues. You know, it was only that one issue. So.
Right.
I mean, part of me felt like I should have just spent the extra money and fixed it because it only had 151,000 miles on it. I could have got like another, and it was the best motor they made in that car. It's a 2002 Impala, and it had the 3.8 motor. So I could have got easily another like 2 years out of that car, but I just didn't know if I felt like spending extra money, and what if it wasn't that, and he couldn't figure it out, and I just like.
It's good to be safe and sorry. Have your stuff taken care of, bro. But again, at the end of the day, you made a great deal. $215 a month and whatnot for the next 3 years. That's awesome. Yeah. So and then you figure out then whether you want to buy it or whatever you want to do. So I think that's that's awesome deal. So anyway, thanks for sharing that story, bro. So,
thanks, man. Thanks for listening.
Oh yeah, let's move forward now.
All right, so you want me to start this one off?
Yeah, why not? This is your topic, and also you just did this topic too on Sandy Anthony show.
Yeah. So I always want to get your feedback, but then there's some topics where I feel like, you know what, we can throw this in on Sandy Anthony show. So shout outs to my wife and I. We do a show, if you haven't seen it yet, on 9:00 p.m. Eastern time on the Now Your Mama Knows YouTube channel, and it's called the Sandy and Anthony show. But but the topic is once a cheater, always a cheater. So I wanted to get your feedback on that.
Yeah, I watched it, but I didn't comment because I know we're doing it on our show, stuff like that.
Cool. All right, cool. That's cool.
Yeah, but I did watch it, and I don't. So you know, I saw different opinions and stuff like that.
Right.
I hate that that's a thing, and I don't know where it started at, stuff like that. To be honest with you, I don't know what culture, was it black or white or whatever culture it was, stuff like that. And I get the premise, you know, like, you know, people are normally, you know, they're normally a certain way. However, when it comes to that, there's a third party involved, which is the person, your spouse or your significant other that you cheated on and stuff like that. So I don't feel like it's more like the next person could be so great that you would never cheat on them. So I don't feel like it's once a cheater, always a cheater. It's more about that particular situation that's involved. I don't think cheating is is like a trait. You know what I'm saying? It's more like situational of who you're with. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I think even lying is more of a personality trait that may continue with your life than cheating would be.
Yeah. Also, I think so you know, whoever started cheating or whatever, but I think I agree with you. I don't think it's a trait, but I think it could be also a time period. I think it could be obviously it's temptation, but I think, and it's people feeding into their temptations, but I think it could be a younger thing. I think in our culture, the black culture, it was just a lot of guys who when I was growing up, who cheated a lot. They was just kind of like they they could get away with it, or they was just like the super dirty ghetto dude, so he didn't care, and then the girls really liked them anyway, and they stuck with a lot of BS, and they allowed him to keep doing it and doing it. So then you got that whole, you know, you would hear like, oh, that guy's a cheater, he's always going to be a cheater. But it's kind of like, one, you kind of allowed him to do it over and over and over to you, right? So
Right.
I feel like once a cheater, always a cheater is kind of more isolated. It's more, I look at it as it's on that, like you said, don't mean you're going to do it to the next person. So I feel like the guy, you can have that guy that's cheating on the one girl, but then meet the next girl and don't do it at all. I feel like people if you could get away with something, you probably will. So if you got the girl that's just gonna allow you to get away with it, it's gonna be harder for you to stop, right? Because you did it for whatever reason in the first place when you're supposed to be committed. But I feel like the next girl might be like, listen, she's not gonna give you that much room, or be like naive. Also, it could be girls that's really naive. So I disagree with the once a cheater, always a cheater. I feel like, again, it's more, I feel like I could see that an individual, like a girl or a guy, saying, oh, you know, that person cheated on me so many times, they're always gonna be a cheater. But that person might just meet someone different and not do the same thing they did to you, you know?
Yeah, I feel like if you get in somebody's story and they tell you, you know, back when I was with Susie, you know, I did cheat or whatever like that.
Right.
That's just them sharing their story. It shouldn't be for you to use like, oh,
Right.
you might cheat on me now, even though you were Susie 10 years ago, or whatever like that. Like, I don't feel like that's fair. But to your point about the people allowing it, that goes back to Miss Annette, right, on Poetic Charm,
Right.
and talk about her generation, how most of them allowed it because they
Right.
didn't want to, you know, let their families go and stuff like that. So,
Right.
you know, I think if that generation allowed it so much, then moving forward, we get that kind of it follows the generations, like one cheater, always a cheater. But more because they let it happen so much, stuff like that. So it's
Right.
really not something that we should deal with. You know, in that particular. So I don't think it's fair. I think, you know, if I share my story, I share my story. There could have been 90,000 things that led up to me cheating on this
Correct.
girl.
That's correct.
You know what I'm saying? That you may never ever do, never ever say,
Right.
never ever feel, and stuff
Right.
like that.
So many things could have led, yeah, you know.
You know what
Also,
I mean? So,
shout outs to Poetic Charm. At what is it, 9 o'clock on Thursday nights?
Thursday nights. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Check
Yeah.
out
And
the YouTube channel, Poetic Charm.
yep, and I'm a official member of that, so you'll see me every week if you want to go on stuff like that. So let's move forward with that. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. And I did watch the show, like I said, 9 o'clock on Thursday nights as well. And yeah, listen, Thursday nights, you could double dip. What I used to do, you can watch one, watch that right afterwards or whatever. But between our whole group, I guess you could say, there's a lot of content that's going on. Whatnot. So,
yeah.
but
And I'll just put this out there. Starting from when you became a member, I'll start putting those shows in the playlist on our channel. So I make a playlist called Poetic Charm. And so people, guys, go to the playlist and check out Big Mike, because he's doing his thing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. From what I've been told, I definitely added to that show. So, you know, I appreciate it. So, moving on forward, man, I'll do the next topic, even though it's one of yours. How long is it okay to keep a secret?
Yeah, so that was interesting. I was listening to the radio and I heard them mention something like that, and I was like, wow, I want to talk to Big Mike about this.
This is a great topic, by the way. So, this is a great topic, by the way.
Yeah. I when I think of secrets, man, I just feel like I don't feel like there's a time frame where you should break it, unless that person you could tell they don't care anymore, or they kind of like they said, oh, I don't, or they verbally said, I don't care, you know. I feel like if you tell me something, I'm supposed to just hold it, you know, as long as I can, you know. Now maybe years go away, or if I feel like you don't really care, and like maybe we get in a conversation, somebody like, oh, whatever happened with such and such, it will have to be like depending what it is. But I feel like if it's a secret, it was important to you, doesn't have to be important to me, so I should keep that secret, you know, keep your secret, you know.
So it's a lot, man, to unpack with that as well. So to your point, I agree with all your words, right? You know, there's not a time frame on it, you know, and it's important, and I should keep it. Here's my question for you, though, to follow up. What's the biggest secret that you ever kept, and how long? Or let me say, is there a secret that you still haven't told anybody, right? And what's the biggest secret you ever kept that wound up coming out later on? How about that?
Okay, so here's what's funny. How are you gonna ask me what's the secret?
I just
and it's
said
supposed
it
to be
came
a
out.
secret.
Hold on, I said it came out later on. So I had to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, one thing comes to my mind. I guess I could say this. A buddy of mine's, I won't say any names, but he was going through really bad times, probably right after high school, and he tried to commit suicide. And me and a other buddy, we was my buddy went on vacation with his family, and they was videotaping everything. So he would always videotape after that, right? So he had the camcorder, and my buddy was just being real stupid, and he drank a bunch of stuff that made him like real lightheaded. Talking about, oh, I'm gonna kill myself. He's like, dude, listen. So my buddy recorded it. So to this day, I have that tape with it all recorded. But I said I would. Dude, you can never share it. Never asked me to burn it, destroy it. Just told me no. He knows to this day I have it in my possession. I'm the guy where I'll keep stuff forever. Like
Me
my
too.
old little, when me, my brother, and my friend used to rap when we was like in school, like little kids, probably elementary school. I have our little cassette tapes of us rapping. I archive stuff. So, but yeah, my buddy, it was, the topic of him trying to commit suicide and drinking whatever he drank that day. I still have it, but I never ever showed even any of the other guys. And so many of my friends were like, bro, let me see the tape so we could laugh at him. I'm like, nah, man, he told me I can't show nobody. And to this day, I still have that tape and I never showed anybody.
Okay.
I wanted to. It was one New Year's. I was like, bro, let me just show the tape. We're all together, man. It's like, no, man. I was like, all right.
Is there any secret? I'm gonna ask all these questions too, by the way. Right. But is there any secret that you can be told that you feel like, you know what, I can't be the one to know this because I have to tell them whatnot?
That I have to tell somebody else?
Let's say if it was somebody cheating on somebody, if there was something like something real serious, but you feel like the other person needs to know.
Yeah, so I can answer that. So when I was younger and I ran with more of a crowd, you always had your main dude and other people, and you always like, yo, guess what happened? Now that I got older, I don't have run with so much. I don't really run with like the crowd, or I don't have like people like boys that I talk to. But my wife is my best friend, and we actually talked about this on the Sandy Anthony show. That sometimes when you tell somebody something, you almost will tell your wife or your husband.
Right.
So if it was something real crazy and I was like, I felt I had to tell somebody, I would just talk to her about it. And I had to say, but you can't say anything, But for the most part, I feel like I'm not into the gossip thing anymore. I don't have those, like, most of the time somebody hit me up. I still got girls who I'm cool with that they call me up and it's like, oh, Anthony, I got to talk to you. And they tell me stuff and I'm like, it's such a big deal. Don't tell nobody. And I'm listening. I'm like, I could care less. Like, I guess my opinions is like, it wasn't that big of a deal for me. I'm not going to tell anybody, but I don't really care, So I think I'm good at keeping secrets. I think if somebody told me something, you know why? Because I don't think I have that many people where this person is going to tell me something and I'm going to be dying to tell that other person, because I don't really talk to people I don't run in cliques anymore. So I don't even talk to all my friends. I talk to you more than my friends I had forever, right? So I'm not going to just all of a sudden be like, yo, let me tell you what happened to them. I don't even talk to them that much anyway, So I don't have that. Yeah. Now, maybe 20 years ago, it'd be like, oh, man, I got to tell, yo, bro, listen, you can't say nothing. But guess what? But now.
So you become better at keeping secrets as you got older, basically.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with maturity and friendships. You realize friendships aren't, I don't want to say as strong, but I don't have as strong bonds as I used to. People get older, they go their separate way. They got their girlfriends or their wives and kids. And then you don't, like, it's no point to really call them up to be like, guess what? Like, I don't have that,
What about, and I'm gonna go after you, because this topic brings a lot of questions, right? What about, let's say, if you knew your brother or your friend was cheating on their spouse and stuff like that, and they told you, and you know all the details and stuff like that, could you hold it but still like be around their spouse and like parties or gatherings and stuff like that, and just not say nothing, knowing it?
Yeah, I won't say, but I definitely have done that before. And listen, I'll act like I don't know nothing. Listen, we all chilling. I know where you just came from, and I know she right there. But hey, listen, they ain't got nothing to me, baby. That's on y'all.
I feel you. All right.
I don't. You know what? I don't want to be a part of your drama. And I feel like, yeah, you told me. Maybe I don't want to hear this, but bro, that's on you. And even if she found out, don't hold me to that. Listen, he felt like he wanted to tell me. I don't have no, like, now here's the hard part. If me and the girl was super cool, right? It's all about friendships. But then again, why would her boyfriend tell me knowing I'm super cool with her?
Cool. Right,
You know.
Yeah. So. If you found out though, how about that? Y'all were cool and you found out. He didn't tell you, but you stumbled upon it, let's say.
Yeah, I think if I found out and I'm really close to that person, I'd be like, listen, I know you don't want to hear it, but then there's some situation where I just mind my business. The person I would have to be super close with, because I'm more of a mind my business person, you know.
Like if you ran into him and a new girl in the store, and he was like, bro, don't say nothing, don't say nothing. Right. Would you tell him, okay, I won't say nothing, or would you be like, bro, I'm sorry, I gotta tell her?
Yeah, if I was super cool with her, I think he would already know. Like, I'll be like, and that's a hard situation, but I feel like my alliance is to my friend, you know, if I'm that close, right? If I'm not that close, I'd be like, listen, I'm just gonna keep it moving in the store. I seen you, but all right. But
gotcha.
Yeah, I think I would have to tell if we were super close.
Okay, so I got a bunch of stories and scenarios about all this stuff, whatever, which is interesting. So back in the day, a couple of friends of mine, actually, one who you know, but one of them was dealing with a girl. She worked at the Wawa, right? So we could all access her because she worked at Wawa. So we all would see her, go get sandwiches or whatever like that. All right, so he was dealing with her, and she wound up getting pregnant and whatnot, and she didn't know what she wanted to do. And since she didn't know what she wanted to do, she didn't want to tell my boy before she figured out what she wanted to do. She wound up telling my other boy because she knew him and they were cool and they were from the same culture. They were both Haitian, I put it like that. So same culture, stuff like that. So when he was in Wawa one day getting a sandwich, she wound up telling him, but then said, promise me that you won't tell my other boy, who was the father of the baby, and stuff like that. Now, so later on, they wound up coming out that she did wind up getting an abortion, never told him that she was pregnant in the first place or whatever. She opted to not even tell him. And they found out that my boy didn't tell my other boy that he knew she was pregnant the whole time. That caused a huge falling out, split and stuff like. Go ahead. Yes, understood.
So wait, so he did tell his boy, or he didn't?
He never told him.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so that caused a huge falling out, split. They wound up not talking for a long time. My one boy was like, yo, I'm your man. This is the girl I'm dealing with. Why would you get a secret from her and not tell me that she's holding my baby right now?
I understand that.
He said, well, I promised her. And for me, when I make a promise, to me, it's like a promise to God. And I can't let that go or whatever like that. And I promised her I wouldn't say nothing. So he was like, I want to hear that.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy? But here's the flaw in that. He should have just not promised her. Nobody said you had to promise her. So that's the thing.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
So I think it is more on him.
No. She set him up. She said, I got to say, but promise me you won't tell Chris before I tell you. And he promised her. That's what happened.
Oh, yeah. Well, he said I feel like if he's so strong, with promises, he probably should have said, I can't promise you unless I know. Because,
exactly.
Yeah. Because I feel like, come on, bro. You was like, you was conned into that, And I feel like, I feel like you could have broke that promise. It's messed up, but they say promises meant to be broken. You could have broke that one promise, man.
Yes, tell him he got a baby coming. So anyway, so if it were you would have been upset with him too, for not telling you that she was pregnant.
Yeah, because I'd have been like, yo, you're my dude, you're my man's, and first of all, yeah, she could have I could know, and she could still say I'm getting it done. I can't force her not to, right?
Right.
But if you, and at first I've been annoyed, like, really, she chose to tell you? First of all, what's that about?
I really think because they had like a cultural connection, they were both Haitian and stuff like that.
I got you. Okay.
Honestly, so I think that kind of made them a little.
Yeah, I definitely would have
closer.
been mad at my boy. I would definitely been mad. I couldn't not be mad at you. Like, yeah, you have to know that we're not cool. You know, that's something big.
Yeah, I thought so too. Or whatever. I mean, they wound up reconciling, but they've never been the same since then. How close they were, but they wound up getting, okay. I would say, at the same time, whatever like that. But that's one. Talk about problems that would happen. For me, I'm with you. I would have said something. For me, it does depend, but I feel like that. The other question, that drama, man, I don't want to get involved with it. I was dating a girl once, and she literally like told her sister like, yo, your husband you've been with and you have me at your house for Thanksgiving and Christmas and we're all cool. Like, if you ever cheat on him, I'm gonna tell him whatever like that. But she told her sister that. And I was thinking, we should be loyal to your sister. I would think whatever like that. But she was just like, no, I can't sit back and watch somebody get cheated on who I see all the time.
That's fair. So that's fair warning. Because again, I'm more about character, right? So like you and me been cool for a long time. So I learned certain stuff about you. You learned certain stuff about me. So I feel like if we was all in the room, like, yo, Big Mike ain't playing. I tell you, this one thing Big Mike ain't gonna go for. So if you made it clear, right? So I give her credit. She made it clear, like, listen, the cheating thing, if I don't care if it's you, my mom, whatever, I'm gonna tell. So that way, just know she gave you fair warning that I'm cool with.
You gotta respect that, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta respect that.
You better more than. And I was just like, I'm surprised because I would think the loyalty would be to the family member, that you're close to.
Yeah, but I feel like blood, people get crazy on this blood thing, but I think what's trumps blood is your character. You are who you are. I don't care what blood you got, right? So all of a sudden, let's say if you're a liar, you're always lying, right? And then it has something to do with your family. Just because it's blood, you all of a sudden not going to be like, oh, or maybe the secret thing. Let's talk about secrets. You're the die-hard, keep a secret person, but because of your family, doesn't mean you're just going to break your character traits and just tell your family, because you still are you. Yeah.
And I get it. I get it. And just as far as me, like, I've kept secrets for years, like many, many years, bro. So I'm definitely good at keeping secrets. Like, you would never get something out of me.
Yeah, I mean, I think you keep. I think you're keeping one now, but we'll talk about this off the show. But hey, look, you know what I said? I said it again. Either you know something I don't, or you being very naive. So that's all I'm saying.
Off the show.
Off the show.
but listen, true story though. And it's it came out, so it's okay. But one time, in my younger 20s, a friend of mine, a girl he was dating and stuff, not his girlfriend, but a girl he was messing around with or whatever like that. Her and I wound up hooking up and stuff like that. Like, why they were still messing around, because he wasn't giving her a lot of attention. She called me really to say, like, what's wrong with your boy? And then I was actually talking to one of her friends at the time and whatnot. So I said, your girl acting crazy too. What's up with her? And it kind of came out like, you know what? We should just hook up. So, and it was kind of like, maybe we should. So before you know it wound up happening. But anyway, I never told him for years and years and years and years and years. And about 2014 or 15, maybe 14, I did like a scrub of all my sins and whatnot. So I went around apologizing to people for things I did wrong to them. I gave out secrets that I was holding, whatever I wanted to do. So this was like 10 years after the fact almost, and that's one of the things I did. I went and told him. We was at a bar together watching the game, and I actually told him, yeah, this is what happened. He didn't care. It was years later, but I just want to let him know. That's what happened.
Now, you know what's funny? So two things to say there. One, I'm a super fan, so I heard you tell that story already on Food for the Culture. So shout outs to Food for the Culture. And when is it coming back on?
Wednesday. Your show is back Wednesday, 9 p.m. and it's going to be live. So people, please watch Food for the Culture. I know you're going to be doing your streaming, but afterwards, please watch it, man. So.
Yeah, and then also I'll make another playlist for Food for the Culture with all your episodes.
There we go.
So you guys will be able to check it out on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second thing is I'm more like this. There's times where I feel like there's a saying, buddy of mine, actually the guy who works at the dealership, his saying is, what good could come from it? So he always look at a situation like, if there's good that could come from it, then go through it, say it, whatever. But if it isn't, he'll leave it alone. In my case, if it was something happened with me and my boy girl and years later, I'm not saying nothing. It's just I don't see what good could come from it. I don't even. There's no. I feel like I want to just be fair and tell the world. Nah, it's just no point. I even like with cheating. Listen, man. If my wife's cheating on me, look, keep it to yourself. You've been getting away with it. Just either A, stop, or B, don't say nothing. Cause ain't no good coming from it.
So you like that old bad boy? What's his name? Mario Winans. I don't want to know. Whatever.
I mean, I'm Leah, because listen. If I found out on my own, cool. If you decide you want to tell me, cool, but it ain't gonna be good. So I'll say you just lie, come up with something else, be like, you know what, our relationship isn't working. I'll be like, why? I thought things was great. You just keep it to yourself.
Really? Okay, that's interesting. Moving forward, then. So, if she was cheating on you with another dude, and then decided to leave you in that situation, you would rather just don't tell me that part. Just tell me it ain't working out or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like I don't need to know that extra detail. It ain't gonna do nothing good for me. No good could come up from it. Like listen, you already been lying if you're cheating, right?
Right.
So I mean, just follow it through. You know,
it's funny because I said this in another situation. I was like, people don't like to know there's someone else when it comes to relationships, right? They rather know it just didn't work out. But when it comes to like there's someone else, it creates a whole different thing in their mind.
And people always say, "Oh, I want to know. I want to know." It's like one of the cliche sayings is you can't handle the truth, but it's true. It's like I'm fine with it. I think like Miss Annette said on shout outs to Miss Annette. She was like, ignorance is bliss. And I feel like I agree. Listen.
God, yeah, that's hilarious. No, but I get it because it's like, not only are you leaving me, but you gonna leave me for this dude you've been messing around with for a long time?
Yeah.
It's kind of like
just let me see on Facebook. You and him started dating a month later, and I'd be like, good for you.
You're probably gonna, now you might assume he's been around for a while.
I might assume, but I can't prove it. And I'm not gonna go ask you. So you go do your thing. You told me it wasn't working, and we good.
All right, well, let's move forward, man. We got to get through the show here, but
this is a
good topic, man. Oh, you next? No. Oh, yeah. You're up next with a small versus.
Small versus. The other day, I was at work, and a girl came to work with a bunch of donuts, right? And I had them, and it was Krispy Kremes. I was like, oh, cool. Thanks, you got me a donuts. And my daughter loves Krispy Kreme, so I was thinking, like, I want to ask Mike, like the old debate. What's better to you, Krispy Kreme or Dunkin' Donuts?
Yo, it is hands down, man. Krispy Kreme has a much better donut, and you might, I don't know how it was for you when you were there, but in Florida, it's more Krispy Kremes than Dunkin' Donuts. Okay. Or whatnot. Like in the Tampa area, that whole area, like most of Florida, actually. So Krispy Kreme is amazing there because, like, it's funny because it looks weird at first. You see more people walking around even with Krispy Kreme coffee cups than Dunkin' Donuts coffee, and you never see that here. So it's kind of like a weird situation. I'm like, who drinks Krispy Kreme coffee? You know what I mean? It threw me off or whatever like that. Right. But I will say that the donut itself, the hot button, when the glaze comes out, the jelly filled one, it's just a much better donut. Now Dunkin' has more of a variety, and they have like bagels and stuff too. But as far as just straight donut, Krispy Kreme is a much better donut.
That's cool. Bro, I 100% disagree.
Okay.
I feel like the taste of Dunkin' Donuts is much better. I don't know whatever not material, but whatever they use to create the Krispy Kreme donut itself, I don't like that taste. Like it's decent, but I feel like whatever they use, the flavor, whatever they use for Dunkin' Donuts, to me is those is a better taste for my taste buds. Like I'm a Dunkin' Donuts does it for me. A nice glazed donut, a Boston cream, that's my go-to. Boston cream and a glazed donut. And I had Krispy Kreme glazed donut. I'm like, it's good, but for some reason I feel like whatever they make it with, maybe it's not as flavorful, or maybe the texture isn't and maybe it might be because I probably first time I had a Krispy Kreme donut might have been within the last 5 years.
Well, yeah, because they don't have. Well, really, I don't know where there's one in Jersey. To be honest with you, but I know there's one in Ben Salem. That's like the closest one to me right now, or whatever. So
where's that?
In Ben Salem, in PA, like on Street Road.
Yeah. That's the closest one to me too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know if like jerseys, like New Jerseys don't have them or whatever like that, so we don't really get them that much. But Dunkin' is on there's 2 Dunkins right now, like within like a mile radius right now from me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a different thing. But so I get that point. But again, living in Florida for a while, Krispy Kreme is like Dunkin'. There's 2 within a mile radius.
I don't even think I knew what a Krispy Kreme was back then. So yeah, I never.
Yeah, I said when you were there, it was a lot earlier than when I was there. So I don't know, but yeah, if you go now, it's way more Krispy Kreme than Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts is the anomaly, right? So it's kind of like
yeah, that's crazy,
right? Yeah. So Krispy Kreme, but Dunkin', man, those breakfast sandwiches though, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Now this Krispy Kreme only does donuts?
They only do donuts. That's the issue and whatnot. So, but if I had to choose a location for the Dunkin', just a straight donut, I'll choose Krispy. So let's move forward. Our boy, Captain America, Chris Evans, apparently.
I was wondering if you even heard of this story. Hold on real quick, right?
All right.
Some results from the web.
Hey, listen. I know y'all. I'm sure it's going. Oh, listen. I know. Now listen. Listen, y'all brothers and sisters. I can care less. But we had art. Take it in the other one. Yeah, I don't listen. You're.
Wow.
Sorry, my household apparently sound like these kids want to kill each other, and I'm like, yo, I'm recording right now,
right?
And I'm like hoping it's not getting caught in the background. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Real quick, off topic, I'm reading right now while you were doing that. A weather report for snow forecast this winter. So I guess the global warming thing is real, man. So New York City is forecast to get 18 to 24 inches of snow this winter, which is 3 to 8 inches lower than its seasonal average. Philadelphia is projected to get 10 to 15 inches, which is about 7 to 12 lower than a seasonal average. So I guess this whole global warming thing, man, is real. Every year we get. If you remember last year, we barely got any.
Well, here's what's funny, because of me trying to get a new car, and I was looking at a Camaro, because I always said my next car would be a Camaro. So I was, looking at this Camaro. So somebody was like, dude, you're trying to get a Camaro right before winter? I said, I don't know. The last couple of winters we've been having, I don't think it matters.
Right. All right. If you look at it. So, I mean, I'm hoping they get a hold on that. I don't think in our, lifespan of the whatever time you and I got left, whatever, it'll be detrimental or whatever like that. But if it's a little bit each year, the next generations, they may have some issues with the whole, global warming thing, right now. But I mean, right now it's kind of good for us. Less snow every year.
Dude, listen, you already know I want to move to Florida because of the weather. So if I could just have a mild winter here, then hey, I'm good.
Yeah. Because I remember one year, actually, when I was in Florida, my dad was cooking out on Christmas because it was like warm here that Christmas, something like that.
Right.
Whatever. He was like, "Nah, I'm on my porch barbecue right now." Like that.
Yeah.
So it was weird, but no, that is actually good news, to know for us right now. I mean, like I said, long term, global warming is not good. But right now, like I said, that's pretty good,
Yeah.
But
so Chris Evans.
Yeah. You tell me about it. I didn't hear about it. You're right.
Oh, wow. So I was listening to the radio, and they was just talking about it like it was common. I was like, I didn't even hear about this story at all. But apparently, he was doing something where he was taking he was recording a bunch of stuff, and somehow they said it was like a reel of stuff, and real quick he went by himself, and I don't know why, but he was naked, and it showed his, and so people real quickly was able to catch that scene.
Of course, the internet is what they do.
Yeah. So I was just like, how did that not become big news? Like, I know the movies aren't a big thing right now, but I'm like,
because of that other stuff going on. Movies not big news. He's done playing Captain America, so to speak, or whatever like that. So probably not, and whatnot. And because bro, it happens so much now. Like
that is true. People are desensitized to it now.
Yeah, like the rapper. So I can just bring word. The rapper Tyga. I don't know if you know him or not, but he's Anyway, but he so somebody leaked his photos or whatever, or tried to no, what they did was they tried to blackmail him. They showed him that we had this and we're gonna leak it or whatever with our money. So you know what he did? He took just the photo and made it OnlyFans, and now he making money from the photo they won't leak anyway or whatever.
Wow.
So he's not putting new stuff on OnlyFans. He just put that photo or those photos or whatever they were going to leak. I said, all right, you're not going to blackmail me. I would make some money for myself or whatever and put it on OnlyFans. I thought that was genius, bro, honestly. So.
Yeah, and I feel like some random person, then the people are going to pay money to him and not some random person. So even if the random person said, oh, well, I'm going to show it also, it's like, but now what the random person, you would think they could show it for free to try to mess some of his money up.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he feels like I'm not getting black. No, you're not getting anything really. You either got to show it for free or don't show it at all,
right?
Or whatever. So
right.
Either way, you kind of messed up regardless or whatever like
That's
that.
Cool.
So
right.
I thought that was like taking the power away from somebody. Like, you know what?
Right.
I'm not scared if you show it. I'll show it myself or whatever like
right.
that.
Yeah.
I like that. You know, in that situation.
Yeah, I always said, man, if I become something like famous one day, I did so much crazy risque stuff in my younger years that I could have a bunch of people just come back with something crazy. I was like wild and crazy, clubbing, and but I feel like the way I would handle it is, listen, everybody got a pass, man. I mean, like you said, it's getting so common, so it's like, yeah, we should make smarter decisions, but people did a lot of stuff, pictures, video, all that stuff. They say everything is still somewhere on the internet, so I feel like, I guess if I was like a pastor or something, they'd be like, man, that's kind of crazy. But I have to explain that, listen, that was my past. If I was a politician, same thing, that was my past. So at the end of the day, like everybody, I don't like when people are held accountable for their past forever. It's like, yeah, 20 years ago, I did such and such. Like the whole thing with, this is going a little off topic, but really want to get your thoughts. But Kevin Hart, the joke he made, and they held him so hard to it. And it's like, how long ago was that? So what's your thoughts on that real quick?
Yeah, I thought that was crazy, and that's too. I mean, he made a joke on Twitter when Twitter first came out over 10 years ago. Off the a joke that was off color comment about the what's it, LGBTQ community, stuff like that. And but I think that it's not like I don't know, man. I think that first of all, he's a comedian. Number one. Number two, doesn't mean he hates the whole community. He made a joke that was probably not a very good joke. But at the time, it was, though. That's what I'm saying. Everybody laughed. Nobody scolded him then. He's been in 90 movies since then. Nothing happened. But then when he got, hired to host the Oscars, and one person went back and found that one tweet, now he gets fired from the job? Yeah. I think that's ridiculous to me. Y'all didn't care about this last month when you were watching this comedy show, but now you care about it because you're going to do the Oscars? I don't understand that.
Now, let me ask you, my main thing was, how would you handle if you became famous and somebody tried to hold your past against you?
Oh, I would see, Kevin Hart handled it the wrong way. I would just embrace it. I would accept it, and I would just kind of say, you know what, my past is my past. We all aren't the same people that we were before. The whole society is not the same. The way we view things aren't the same and whatnot. And if I'm Kevin Hart, I say, listen, I was probably wrong, and I've learned from that. And I said it's wrong to make jokes about a whole community the same way that half of you were wrong for laughing and making jokes about my Black community. You know what I mean? For years, and now it's wrong to do that. Stuff like that. So we all have grown all together as a society, and that's how I would embrace it. Stuff like that.
That's cool.
I mean,
that's cool.
So, yeah. Moving forward, though.
Forward.
All right. Where were we at? What was it?
We are at the Snyder Cut.
Yeah. So I'll introduce that. Snyder Cut. Justice League, to sort of reshoots with the original cast. Just to give you a little background, it started out as just like, he got this cut he's gonna put out. Then it was like, all right, he need a little bit of money, do a little bit of reshoots. Now it's up to $70 million that he needs for reshoots, for some additions to color, to have the original cast come back and do some shoots. So even if you look at the trailer for it that he done put out, the small trailer, bro, it's like a whole different movie at this point. Especially if you add the money. So what do you think of that? Because I remember in the beginning you were like, well, I don't get it. But just like a little extra cut. Like, why is it so great or whatnot? But now it's going to be, now there's so much added in money and things like that. And also that's going to be a 4-part mini series rather than the whole movie. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's cool, but it's weird to have a movie that already came out and then you decide to, like, this is going to be new, right? Like, when have we had a movie that came out, but we feel there was a better version, so now we want to make that. I feel like that's just deleted scenes. Like, why you just don't have a special box set with the deleted scenes? But this is something new, so maybe movies are going to start doing this. Maybe, like they say, originality is dead, right? So how do you make something new when pretty much something's already been done? Well, they say imitation is the best form of flattery. So we're going to take that same movie, but we're going to add to it and add stuff by adding stuff that we originally had planned but scrapped, and throw it in there. So let's just see how it is. Let's see how it comes out. I mean, it seems a little weird, but then again, I guess if you're a fan of the directors and stuff, you almost want to, like they call it the Snyder cut. So let's see what his vision was for the movie. You know, but then it's like, well, where does this bit? Then we're gonna get into debates. So is this the true is this the true version? Like, you know, I don't know. But I mean, listen, it's something to watch. I welcome it, but I also am one of those people where when you make a good movie or a bad movie, like, I feel like leave well enough alone, right? So sometimes you make a really good movie, I'd rather not have a part two because it mess up like the franchise, right? Or I feel like, you know what, take another stab at it, and if it doesn't work out, it is what it is. But this is totally different. This is just making the same movie, but just over, you know, and it's not really a remake. It's just a different look at them. Like, how do you even call it?
I don't know what to
like,
call it, really. Yeah, it's weird. I guess Snyder cut, I guess looking to put it, but yeah, it's just a different cut of it. The weird part to me is that, like you said, you can have like deleted scenes, but if you ever watch deleted scenes, I'm sure you do. Some of them like aren't finished. You still see green screen.
Right.
So it's more like he's taking the money to finish those deleted scenes and add them to the movie. So it is kind of weird because he also going to still have parts, I'm sure, that we did see as well.
Yeah.
So it will be kind of weird to look at. I think making it a 4-part mini series might be a good idea. So you can kind of take in each part, you know, each hour, then have to watch it as a whole and dissect it, like what was new and what was not new, and whatnot. But I think, like you said, it's just very interesting, I think, and very new, and it might become a thing at some point.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, I'm a big fan of new stuff. Like, I love new tech. I love when they do something new. So listen, I like genres. Like when you create a new genre, like you know, perfect example. The video games have a new genre called a battle royale, right? Like Fortnite is a battle royale game, one of the biggest games in video game history right now, right? And it's a free to play game, so it's crazy. But before Fortnite, there was no battle royale games, and then it wasn't the first battle royale game, but in this genre, so it's like a new thing that's to video games that wasn't there before. So maybe the Snyder cut might be like, I mean, can you imagine an iconic movie that you knew and loved, but they always said it was more to it? Like, I could think of I don't want to think of comic books because the Snyder cut is comic book, but the one movie I seen that had the most amount of deleted scenes, which was over 3 hours of deleted scenes, was The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. And they had a cool scene that was in the video game that wasn't in the movie. And I always thought it'd been cool. In the beginning of the movie, they were supposed to shoot, he went to Antarctica and tried to kill himself. So it shows you how powerful the Hulk is. Edward Norton put a gun in his mouth and pulled the trigger.
I saw that.
He turned in, So, you know, so that would have been cool to have in the movie, but it was only a deleted scene, unfinished. So it would have been cool to see that put together, you know?
Yeah, I think the dopest part about this is that you got Ben Affleck and all the other guys willing to come back for the reshoots to put this new out, even though it's the same movie and stuff like that. So I think that's cool that they don't have to like just kind of take what they got and work with that. The guys are actually coming back to be filmed for other stuff or whatever like that. I think that's pretty cool. You know, of anything, you know, the whole thing. So we'll see how it works out. Let's move on forward. So number 6, I kind of think that now goes with number 12. So maybe we should, you know, save that for the end, stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely, because number 12 was new.
Right. So we can put it all together. So let's skip 7, and I'll introduce that. So Google Map will now show COVID spikes. COVID spikes with a red dot when you open the app. So basically, you open the app and you have Google Map and you're trying to see where you're going, you can see red dots. Right, this area has a large COVID spike. What do you love tech? So what do you think about that?
I think it makes sense. I think every day you see somebody wear a mask. Every day since this, you have seen someone wear a mask if you went outside your house.
Right.
That's the new normal. Why not incorporate it into your regular your map? You're going somewhere. Like, even I went to the dentist last week Monday, and they checked my temperature. They had me sign waivers. I had, oh, did you do this and that? You know what they asked me? They said, did you leave outside the state of New Jersey? I said, yeah, I just went to Delaware on Friday. They said, well, hold on, we gotta wait. We gotta talk to the dentist and see if he want to see you. I had to sit there for like an extra 15 minutes while them figuring out if they would see me or not. So I mean, if they do that, why not know that, oh, we're going somewhere, a GPS is like, oh, well, where we're going through is one of the hot spots. Because I was like, I know Delaware at one point was on the list for New Jersey, but I didn't know if they still was on or not. Well, now if you GPS somewhere, you could see like little red things on the map. You'd be like, oh, well, we know where we're going. It's considered a hot spot. That's fair. That might be the difference of you going there and coming to work, or the dentist. The dentist not letting me go. But if I GPSed where to go and it was on the red spot, like, oh, if we go there, it might have repercussions for me back in my state.
Yeah, or just I don't want to go there because I'm scared I might get it. Either one, or whatever like that. You know what I mean?
That's fair. I mean, there's so many people who are still fearful of it, and that's fair. So why not add an extra layer to them so they could be mindful, extra mindful of even where they're going, their surroundings.
Especially because the one thing we might not be able to crack this virus, but we got tech on lock, like as far as that, or whatever like that. So let's use what we know we're good at, tech, and try to at least help with the virus. Something like a Google Map app that can at least show you, there's been 1,000 reported cases in the last week here or something like that. I think it's incredible, for people to do. So, and if the tech is there, let's use it as best possible. So
might as well. We already have it.
Yeah, I feel like that's there. All right, next one you actually brought up, so let's let you bring that up.
Okay. So the next one is let's see, that would be number 8, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this was crazy. So I was doing a Sandy and Anthony show, and my next door neighbor started watching. So she actually texted to me when I was doing the skit of Daisy and Duke. If any of you guys seen it, Daisy, Duke, me and my wife, I have my cowboy hat on and we do accents, right? So she texted me and I looked at my text, and just from looking at the text, it looked like it was a bunch of coins. I didn't know what she was trying to tell me. And I was in mid-act, so I just put my phone down. So the next day I looked at it, I was like, oh, what? So I read it and I was like, I got to talk to Mike about this. And then you end up saying you heard about it. But it says the Vietnamese police finds 345,000 condoms being used and resold. So I was reading it, they were cleaning old used condoms to repackage them and reuse them. So I was like, that's like one of the craziest stories. But at the end of the day, a condom is just fabric, it's just plastic. It's whatever the material. So I feel like, I guess if you sterilized it, then I don't know how you're going to get the whole, it slinks back up. Because when but
I think that's ridiculous, bro. That's crazy and whatnot. I think,
but 345,000.
Right. That's crazy. How are they even like? Are they like going through trash? It's like, don't people throw away condoms after they use them? Like, I'm trying to figure this out.
It probably is something that. So for us, it sounds foreign. For them, they're probably like, yo, when you finish using your condoms, make sure you put it in such and such, and maybe like recycling. They probably just like, oh, when you finish using your condoms, you could drop it off at some center or something. It's probably for them. It's probably just something they do. Whereas we're like, what? They're probably just like, what do you mean? Like,
yeah, or do they like get like $1 or $2, like for every time you bring in, you get $10, something like? No, I mean,
maybe like when people return like cans, you get money for cans. Yeah.
Right. I just think that's so crazy, bro. But I could see the sterilizing factor in it, but still, how great can you sterilize a condom? Like, it's so many things that go in there, bro.
I'm pretty sure you could you could super sterilize. It's just plastic. I mean, anything could be sterilized. My rings. So when we went to Delaware, we went to so we get our rings clean, and they got to get checked every 6 months. Make sure the diamonds are tight and everything in order to keep our warranty from K Jewelers and Hellsberg, right? So when we went, they said, hey, just to let you know, we're gonna sterilize it. We gotta touch it, whatever. If you're cool with it, other rings has been used in the same sterilization, but it's sterilized. Like, it's certain. Remember, a certain temperature like kills bacteria, right? So we was like, yeah, we're cool with that. So they took our ring, sterilized it, gave it back to us, and put it back on our finger. I mean, if a ring is just a ring, could be sterilized. A piece of plastic could be sterilized. I mean, that's not hard. They used to sterilize bottles by boiling the nipples.
So let me ask you this: if they were reselling it, and let's say it was on a stand, and this one said, super sterilized condoms, saying like that,
Right.
would you buy it yourself?
I mean, maybe if I was in that country and that was just a thing to do, and I met some chicks that night, then yeah, because I'm just gonna conform to it, versus me not using it. If it's in the United States, see, again, I'm fair when it comes to certain things, because I realize what we often do is don't put our feet in other people's shoes, right? So again, in the United States, that sounds like the craziest thing in the world. But like I said, when COVID happened, I said, dude, it reminded me of Mexico. One of the craziest things, we get off the plane, go to Mexico, and they made it clear in the airport. I mean, it was so crazy. Whatever you do, like they had to make it clear, you cannot drink the water. No water. You can't turn the faucet on. Like, it was this long, big lecture. You had to know in Mexico, you can't drink water unless it's bottled. I'm like, so you can't turn the faucet on? No. Yes, you could rinse something out. You could wash something, but you cannot consume water. I'm like, wow. It was so for us in the United States, wearing masks is like, for me, I'm like, Dad, we're wearing masks. Like, but I remember going to another country where drinking water out the faucet was like the end all be all. Japan, because they smog, they're used to wearing masks. So I feel like we have to sometimes take ourselves out of our United States-ism and realize, like, I mean, another country, I guess that would be normal.
Got you. I hear you, man.
So I try to look at stuff like that. So yes, it sounds crazy, but I guess if I went to visit Vietnam and I was single and it was a bunch of chicks and I was gonna go back or whatever, and you go in the rack like, yo, I gotta buy some condoms, and on the rack is just like, best sterilized #1. Guess I'm grabbing one of them.
Hey, listen, I got you. Me, I'm just hold on till I get back home. Whatever, I don't need to do that, but
I mean, but these women are gonna be there, so I guess you're just gonna be like, hey, listen, we ain't doing it. If y'all ain't trying to go raw, we ain't doing it. But like, hold up. Wait.
No, I'm not going raw. I'm not doing anything. I'm just leaving.
Yeah, but I feel like what's harming you? Like, just the fact, it bothers you just the fact that you know another man?
Well, I think what you just said, right? So it goes both ways. I'm from this country, right? So I'm used to a certain standard when it comes to the condoms and stuff like that.
I know, but your main thing was about being sterilized. You do realize, I'm pretty sure they could sterilize it and it was like nobody ever touched it, right? Technology is that great. You're just talking about sterilization. You're not gonna have no leftover anything. It's gonna be sterilized. It's like I said, when I was younger, I don't know if they still do it now with kids, but you had to sterilize the nipples. So you had to boil the nipples for the bottles for your kids.
They still do. Yes. When you first get it, yes.
So
I think it just might be the knowledge of knowing it was used and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what
the nipples aren't used; they're new. They just want you to sterilize it first because it was, in a factory and stuff like that. But it's just knowing, I think it was used is the mental part that's kind of messing with my head.
See, that will mess with me more than wondering did they do a good job of sterilizing?
Yeah, I agree.
Get the concept that a factory, 100% is going to sterilize this thing. I mean, it's a condom, so they're going to make sure it's fully sterilized. But the fact that somebody else wore it that would be my hang up.
Right. I got you. All right. Moving forward, man, to a sad topic amongst the whole wrestling community, man.
Yep.
And Road Warrior Animal passed away. And Road Warrior Hawk, as you know, passed away several years before. Yep. And it's funny because I just watched the documentary about, not documentary, what's it called? What's the wrestling show that's on Spike TV? The one I watched about
the behind the scenes thing, right?
Whatever it's called. Anyway, I just watched that or whatever. We're talking about Hulk and the whole team and stuff like that. Like a week before, maybe, stuff like that. And Animal's on there talking about Hulk and how he went down the wrong path and the drugs and everything like that and what happened to him. And then he passed away. Now, I never got the full details of his death. I don't know if you did or not.
I didn't either. I just know he was 60 years old, so he's fairly young.
Yeah, he's fairly young. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on it and the legacy that they had and stuff like that?
Huh?
What are your thoughts on the passing away and the legacy they left amongst wrestling community and stuff like that?
Still one of the most iconic tag teams ever. When I was young, watching them walk out with the spikes in their shoulders and the face paint, it was just like, wow. You know, their move, you know, first of all, they had the, the acronym, the LOD, the Legion of Doom. The Doomsday device, they put you on their shoulders, one jump off and clothesline. I mean, that's been used since then, and people always reference it back to them, you know?
Yeah.
Iconic.
One of the most devastating tag team moves of all time, by the way.
Yeah.
Because when they got you would flip over, land on.
Yeah, and it looked like they made it look like other people tried to do it, but it don't look like when Hawk and Animal did it, man.
Yeah. And it's funny because in that documentary, it's a story that one night in like '93 or something like that, they were all at this strip club after a show. So it was like a bunch of the wrestlers, and Vince was there, Vince McMahon, and they were all drinking and stuff like that. And for some reason, at the show, at the strip club, he says, "You guys think you're tough? I bet you I can take all your finishers or whatever like that." So at the strip club, he decides to take everybody's finisher, stuff like that. So the second one, I think, was Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors. So he jumped. So Hulk, the strip club has a stage, as you know, how strip clubs go and stuff like that.
Right.
So Animal was on the floor with Vince on his shoulders, Hulk him off the stage with the clothesline. So and he landed on the regular floor in the strip club and whatnot. So I thought that was a crazy thing to even say, because everybody was like, I don't know why Vince said he would do that, because he did not look good after it was over. But I guess he wanted to show that, he's a part of this crew or whatever like that too. But it's still crazy that happened, because I'm not taking a finisher at all. You know what I mean? So
but no, I would have to take one.
You gotta take one?
Yeah, man. I would like to get hit with the finishers by the actual wrestlers. It'd be iconic for me. Like, oh man, when I was younger, we used to wrestle on like this guy's yard, and we was kids, and it'd be like 14, 15 of us having our own little battle royal. Like, it was fun.
Now, but would you take it inside of a strip club though, and not inside the ring where you got more cushion and stuff like that?
I mean, I probably would just go for it. I mean, if it was the actual wrestlers, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. I would tell somebody to videotape it.
I'm worried about hitting the strip club floor after the Doomsday device. I'm sorry, man. That's a little crazy.
Right.
But Vince is Vince, man. So he's crazy. So, but yeah. But as far as them, man, I think it's very, it's sad they're both gone now. I'm happy Animal got a chance to go in the Hall of Fame before he did pass away and stuff. They were definitely one of the most iconic. They were winning all the titles, bro. And every company they went to, they moved right up the tag team scene, whether it was NWA, WCW, WWF, and stuff like that. I thought it was great. I thought, watching the documentary, their falling out at one point was bad because, Hulk took the whole gimmick to Japan. Had another guy dressed up in the spikes and stuff like that. It was crazy. But at the end of the day, they both were two kids who were just wound up being friends from Minnesota and stuff like that. And they wound up doing what they did. So they definitely, probably to this day, and I don't know if they ever would change, be one of the top 5 tag teams of all time, stuff like that.
Right.
So
I don't see how they name wouldn't be in the top 5.
Yeah, that's
like
what I'm
impossible.
saying.
They don't have to be a number 1, but you can't take them out. The top 5.
No,
maybe years and years later, and people didn't watch wrestling, when they was around. Then that's fair, because you only know what you know, and only have impact. Like, it only really you have that connection. Like, oh wow, they was amazing. But
yeah. You probably put another group above them if you were younger and stuff like that. But I agree. And speaking of that, man, this is off topic, but that guy I sent you, that guy who does that wrestling with regret channel, bro, he's so good, bro. Like, the detail that he puts in everything is amazing. And the fact
I was watching some of his stuff. Like, he actually had Jim Cornette on the show. Like, I was like, oh wow.
Yeah. But the amount of followers he got, and it's like, bro, he spends his days watching wrestling only, and then breaking it down and analyzing it, whether it's new or old stuff. And I mean,
I have a super passion for people that do that. So I originally, I created the Stadia Avengers channel, guys. If you don't know, check it out, right? But it's only for Stadia, only for the game Marvel Avengers. And then originally I was like, I'm gonna do character builds. I'm gonna do news. And that stuff is draining. Like, Now I just only really stream it. Like, so what I wanted the channel to be, and I thought it was gonna blow up. I'm like, I don't have the energy to only follow that. I do so much other stuff that I can't just cram all my energy into that. So even if you see, I've been doing more stuff on the channel, been putting out more reviews, like, yeah. So I could imagine this guy watching wrestling all day to then talk about wrestling, and then I'm into editing. The level of stuff I seen, because you sent me the thing, so I at least want to take a look at it. I'm like, man, he's putting a lot of time, money, and energy into editing, people on the show, interviews. I mean, you got to take your hat off. So he deserves those followers, you know?
Yeah, he does, man, because, you know, he'll talk about an old pay-per-view, but then edit the scene there from the old pay-per-view and stuff like that. That's a lot, bro. And what he does, like, with the money he makes is that for the Patreon that he has, they got to pay money to nominate a pay-per-view for him to review. Not even pick it, just nominate it. So if 20 of us nominate one pay-per-view, he's already made $200 or whatever like that.
Right.
And that's only one he's got to review.
See, I like that. Like, even Josh was saying, dude, you need to start a Patreon. I feel like Patreon is good when you want to buy better equipment. You're like, dude, I'm using the money. I feel like that's smart, because usually when people have Patreon, they give you extra special stuff too. Like, oh, the people who paid money, like, we got extra videos that only the paid people could see. So imagine him making all these different content, and then he's gonna have stuff that he could cut out and make specifically for people who pay and stuff like that. Like, that just makes so much sense to have the way he's doing his channel. It's cool.
Yeah, definitely, man. And like, I don't want to keep talking about him, but man, when you watch it, like you said, he don't just talk about the matches, right? He'll talk about the location it was at, the WWF or WWE or whoever it was, the scenery they had in the background, the backdrop, the Titantron, like what they did. He talks about everything from these shows. I'm like, bro, that is a lot or whatever. He talks about who was commentating that night. He even says, like, yeah, well, this night, Jerry Lawler was really into the women. Like, he everything. He don't miss a beat or whatever. I've never seen nothing like it when it comes to a wrestling fan, bro. It's
pretty cool.
It's really amazing to me. But moving forward, somebody like me who likes, you know, background and director stuff and all that stuff, his stuff is perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm all into that stuff. So moving forward, man, soon.
Yeah, man.
Mr. President, man, it's been a tough week for Mr. President.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, we might as well get into both things, tie 10 and 11 together.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was came out in the news earlier this week that in 2016 and 2017, the president, Donald Trump, only recorded $750 for his federal taxes. Excuse me. So I don't know how you're a billionaire or millionaire, and that's how much you paid in taxes. That's wow, I want his tax guide. But and then they said it was over 10 years that he didn't pay taxes at all. So that's kind of crazy. But I feel like with money there comes power. Like, people are especially because he's a business guy, so he knows these loopholes, and if nobody catches it or hold him accountable, you're just gonna get away with it, you know. So that doesn't surprise me at all. But so long he didn't want to show his taxes, didn't want to release his taxes, and obviously this is why he didn't want to release them.
And the irony is, if he wasn't a president and also a very polarizing president like he is right now, they probably wouldn't be investigating it so much. He probably would still be getting away with it. You know what I mean? Like, they're only doing it because they don't like him and because of who he is and stuff like that. But Donald Trump's, you know, been around for 30, 40, as far as like making money, a high player. This ain't the first time I'm sure he got loopholes. I'm sure in the 80s, 90s, all of it, he's gotten loopholes and stuff like that. But nobody cared about it enough, I guess, to really follow it at the time. But now I think it's because of who he is. So I do agree with you, the money and the power. And I'm sure he's not the only person getting these loopholes as far as like hard power people.
Yeah, some people who need the help with that was Wesley Snipes, because he didn't get through that loophole.
Right. He had to do some time, but I bet you they weren't messing with him. He is bleed in jail. Why not?
Yeah.
Like, try him if you want to.
Yeah. Have you seen them stunts? That was me.
Right, exactly. So, but anyway, back to Trump, man. So that was a good start because the taxes were into the next part of this topic, the debate that happened this week.
Right.
Which he still didn't speak on. But let's talk about the debate. Did you hear about this?
It was so crazy. I heard so much about it. I got really busy. I had no interest, but my only interest was because of the drama. I was like, now I kind of want to see it because what I thought was, okay, they're going to have a good debate. Trump is going to be Trump. All right. Let's just say that. But I was disappointed in Biden that he allowed Trump to pull him to his level. Now, some people try to defend Biden, but I'm like, either way, my whole point with Trump is he's not presidential, right? He say and act in ways that's not professional. Biden should have been, and I get it, he's human, right? But he should have went on there and said, I'm not gonna be screaming out a turn. I'm not gonna say belittling things. I'm not gonna allow him to make me be unpresidential. And for again, I didn't see it myself, to be fair. But from what it sounds like, they both was acting like little kids. And my wife wanted to watch it, and she was watching it and actually fell asleep on it. But she seen some of it and was like, yeah, it was just not cool to see the two candidates for our presidency was acting the way they act. So,
bro, I watched some of it and then I caught some of the snippets from it. It actually reminded me of the movie Grumpy Old Men. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, it reminded me of that. It's actually a great movie, both of them and whatnot. Walter Matthau, actually, and rest in peace to both of those guys. But it reminded me of that. Remember that movie? They were always arguing back and forth, and there were just two old men going back and forth. And that's what it reminded me of and stuff like that. Rather than being presidential, having good debates. Now, we expect this from Trump, but I agree. You know what I mean? Take the higher road if you're Biden and whatnot. Because here's the thing. People don't always realize, and I always say this and whatnot, even when Trump got elected, we're looking at it on the surface of we're here, and this is what's happening. So whatever you do, Biden, come back at him, forget him. But other countries are like laughing at us. Like, look at these two guys. You know what I mean? These are two guys going for the presidency.
So on the Sandy Anthony show, it's a new guy that watches the show and comments, right? His name is Kevin. He lives in Canada. And we a couple shows ago, he was like, Kevin, what do you think? What are you guys saying in Canada? He said, we look at the TV and just shake our head at the United States and at your president and be like, wow. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, we're a joke.
Right. And that's why I said when he got elected, I said, yeah, we are a joke. Even back then I said, they're looking like they elected the guy from a TV show talking about you're fired or whatever as their president or whatnot. Right. And now even this for Biden, they're laughing, saying like these two guys just having they can't even get it together. So we gotta look at it like, what other countries are thinking about us, because they're the ones who we gotta, go to later on for stuff or make treaties with or whatever, this and that. So I felt like, now I did see that since Trump was cutting him off a lot and then Biden came back with that they're now going to implement new technology, maybe cut the mic on the other person where you can't hear them, cut the other person off and let them speak or whatever like that, and try to implement some new rules within inside of the debate that they were having, since obviously in these particular times we can't be presidential, stuff like that.
I seen on the news that they said that they blame the moderator as well. Like the moderator did a poor job of moderating them. So
yeah, I think they may not use him anymore. But if you watch it though, he was trying to say, Mr. President, Mr. President, Mr. President, Joe, whatever, this and that. But I'm like, what can he go up there and just say, punch him in the face? Like, what we're
if they just keep over talking each other and keep going on and on, what are you gonna do? You know
what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, and then if he just screams out, like, then is he now, unprofessional? Because he screams out and says, shut up, let him talk. Like, how does that sound? So either way, it's like a lose-lose to me and whatnot. So I don't envy the person who has the job to moderate them. So,
I agree. But, and they said Trump did a low blow. He was talking about Biden's son, something like that. About
Biden mentioned one of his sons, how he was, I guess, a veteran and stuff like that. Because I guess Trump has said about the veterans before, and Trump was ready. He said, "Which one are you talking about, Hunter?" Because Hunter's the other son, and Biden was like, "No, I'm talking about Bo." He said, "No, well, I know about Hunter." Trump said, and Hunter was dishonorably discharged for being a cokehead, and then went and made money from Russia and stuff like that. So I think Biden set himself up a little bit and didn't know Trump had the intel and whatnot. So by Biden putting up one of his sons, Trump had info on the other son on deck, ready. So I think that's a bad job by Biden's prep team, to be honest with you. Now, it's a low blow. It's a low blow. But you know who you're dealing with or whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, not for nothing, though. Trump probably was going to bring that up anyway. Let's be real. So you just think Trump was going to leave it alone, and since he brought up his one son, Trump was like, oh, By the way, no, I'm pretty sure Trump at some point, he probably have his certain points. Listen, when I say tell people, Trump is a New Yorker. He half the stuff I don't even think he really believes or mean. He's just getting a rise out of you. He's a trash talker. He's like you and me, we go back and forth because that's what we do, right? He does that to the American public as if they're friends. Or or he got a little beef with you. That's just that. And he's older. He is set in his ways, So I feel like I'm not surprised that he brought up his son, whether Biden brought up his other son or not. I feel like Trump probably had it in his back pocket. And
he did. He definitely did. Yeah. I mean, I felt like that, but also felt like the point that you were trying to make about your one son kind of got thrown to the backside because the other son.
I mean, it's smart on his. Here's the bad thing. I like stuff to be professional. Like I said, when you first told me about the show you was doing, when we just met, I was like, man, I hope it's not no crazy ghetto black show. And I love it because all you guys are educated. It's a good show, right? It's a good show. I don't like when stuff get like, when I want to watch my drama, I'm watching reality TV, right? I want to watch Love on X on the Beach or Temptation Island. I don't want to watch the presidency. The highest office in the United States being drama filled. That's not where I want to see. I'm not saying drama, listen, there's a place and time, but that's not the place or the time. That
I agree, bro. So let's springboard, right? Because while keeping it in the same place for a second. So during the debate, they were talking about the COVID and the mask and stuff like that. And Trump, they were talking about how Trump doesn't always wear his mask, as we see at his rallies, press conferences, yada, yada, yada. And then Trump pulled out the mask, because I do have it with me, out of his, his lapel, and pulled it out and said, I have it with me, and stuff like that. He said, I don't always need it if I'm not too far apart from somebody. But this guy wears his mask everywhere. He wears it wherever you go, and stuff like that. As like mocking him for wearing the mask. 2 days later, Trump got diagnosed with the COVID. So what are your thoughts on that?
Here's my thing, and not even to be funny, if you leave your house, it's such a high potential for you to get COVID, mask or no mask. It's so much you have to do in order to not get it. And it's so, I always said it. If you could go to Walmart, then you could do almost anything. But I feel like he's around so many people, right? He got people who write for him. He got people who got to talk to him. Like, so it's every time you see another person walk past you, it's a potential to get COVID, right? Mask or no mask, because remember, this thing is something that could land on something, sticks in the air, get on your clothes, stay in your hair, stay on metal, plastic. I mean, it literally, so he could have got COVID anytime and touched it, put his hand down, and then didn't think to wipe his hand down, and he could have just went like this. So is it ironic? Now that's the thing. Yes, it is ironic because Mr. I don't really believe too heavily in the COVID. Mr. I don't need to wear a mask. Mr. Haha, you wear a mask. I don't. That is definitely ironic, but it's so human though. I don't have a big thing to talk about. I feel like he could get it. He ain't exempt from COVID. Nobody's exempt from COVID. So him getting it is like,
well, he was at some sort of a fundraiser rally, and now since then, like 6 people at the same rally is tested for it. Now, if you look at the rally, there are no social distancing. Every seat outside on the lawn, they were outside though, but on the lawn is next, like a regular, like a graduation, like right next to each other. Nobody there has on the mask, right? And all of them who got it got the COVID. And afterward, one of the ones who got it, like a senator or something like that, you see him like say, hey, this is my wife, shaking the guy's hand, giving him a hug, holding a mask in his hand while doing this to the other guy who don't have a mask on and stuff like that. And he wound up catching it. So I agree with you, it's always a chance, but they also, if you look at it, we're not acting responsibly to
There's precautions set in place. Like when I went to dealership yesterday, I was at the dealership for over 6 hours or about 6 hours, right? Over 6 hours. And car dealership, and everybody wore a mask. It's like I sit there and I was saying to my wife, I was like, wow, man, this is the world we're living in. Every customer came in wearing masks. Nobody ever took their mask off. Right.
So when you see that, you can have it, but you're like, man, y'all didn't even care that they
Yeah,
would be
but
like that.
and then it goes deeper than that. Just because you're wearing a mask don't mean you're not gonna get it. Because you could easily. Here's the thing. I feel like we're so like. I was talking to somebody and they were saying how like, yeah, you're wearing a mask, but how many times I went to the drive-through, right, at McDonald's, and I hand them my credit card, and they take my credit card in their bare hands and they put my credit card in and take it back out and hand it back to me.
Yeah, I mean that's true too.
They got a mask on. What does that mean?
Yeah,
because at some point they could rub themselves. Some point they could, they could touch the register.
Yeah, but the key is to at that point, right, to get the credit card back, put it back in your wallet, put it back in your pocket or whatever, sanitize your hands.
Yes.
Because the biggest thing about this is that when it's on your hands, you're touching your face, and people don't even know when it's touching their face and stuff like that. So that's when the washing and sanitizer comes in. It's really to avoid what you're going to do, which is touch your face and not even realize it and whatnot. So I think a lot of it comes from people just moving forward about, like you said, about the mask part, not thinking about their hands, and then touching their face and not realizing and stuff like that. So I think that's what happened. And that probably happened. I don't think, at no point, I told you, man, if I shake somebody's hand, if I see my boy or somebody like that in the grocery store, shake his hand, you better put some sanitizer right afterwards.
Right, yeah. And I feel like, I said it before too, at some point there should have been like a general consensus coming from the CDC and said like, hey, everybody is mandatory to have a little bottle of whatever, and the government should have been giving them out. And it's because we all, you got to wear your mask. The mask isn't even, it's part of the battle. The battle is when you touch something, and gloves don't make it any, we already know the gloves thing is not good. So what it should have been is everybody had, like when we went to the movies, you had a little spray bottle, portable spray bottle, spray down, we good. Even if I say, yo, what's up, Mike? Handshake. That's what everybody should be doing. That's what the cashier should be doing.
Bro, listen, people don't, like I said, they can shake a hand, take a bag, like you said, from a grocery store, whatever, hop in the car and got something in their teeth, and they're like, get this. You don't like you got the corona already. You didn't even sanitize your hands first, like that. You know what I mean? So it's so the mask is not it. It's part of it, but it ain't it. Sort of like that.
It ain't it. Nah.
Let's move forward, man. I know you got to go soon. I want to get to this topic in particular. We could even skip the other verses if we have to.
Okay.
But movie theaters, man. We got to get to that. That's our thing.
Yeah, that's our thing, brother.
So I got to update this since the last time I wrote this. Black Widow and other movies got pushed to 2021. We already know Wonder Woman got pushed all the way to Christmas and whatnot. And now No Time to Die, James Bond film, the last big movie, quote unquote, that's supposed to come out soon, got pushed from November to April 2021. After it was that announcement, literally, the movie they're saying it, that announcement has now made Regal, the second biggest chain in the world, Cinemark, now say this week they're going to close because now there's nothing big coming out to try to help save them, and they can't afford to stay open, which I predicted, right, a couple weeks ago or stuff like that on the show. So what are your thoughts about all that, you guys?
It's sad for me. I was talking to my wife yesterday because we went to a buddy house. He was doing like a movie night. So we went over there. We watched about 4 movies. And, we got there like at 7 Sunday. So we was watching movies late into the midnight, right? I said it sucks because we got an unlimited movie pass and we haven't watched anything because there's nothing to watch. I like going to the movies. I just like it. Right. So to hear that they're going to close the movies again is not good for me. But well, what's the crazy? It's a certain term called the new normal. And eventually the term normal just means something you're accustomed to, something that isn't foreign to you. So not going to the movies is the new normal. Yeah,
it does suck for that because we just made a plan with each other to go see the movie 2 weeks from now.
Right,
to go see the Liam Neeson movie.
Yeah,
like
on the 15th.
So, well, now we closed already, but I get it though for the theater wise. I'm gonna talk about that for a second. I get it because if No Time to Die is not coming out, you can't expect a lot of money from anything else. And, you know,
Right.
I told you, everybody knows by now, I can see the theater from my house almost. I can walk to the theater. There's
Right.
never any cars in the parking lot. You know what I mean? So, and the people who are working there, that was probably the most easiest job to have over the last month since they've been open. All you
Yeah.
do is chill all day, and nobody's in there. And the random people at the desk, all you do is take a ticket and leave. Like, it's never a line. You know, movie theaters have become hard when there's like a line for concessions. You got to go over and over and over again. For them, it was the easiest pie
Yeah.
last month and stuff like that. So
I brought you up actually because somebody said we was talking about movies, and somebody was like, yeah, the movie theater by me is closed. I was like, no, it ain't. My friend who lives on your street. I was like, no, it ain't. It's open. She was like, yes, there's never cars there. I was like, no, my buddy have went to the theater. He said it is open. It's just dead.
right. It's just dead. Yeah, exactly. Like, I talked to the manager in there. If you go by, if you know me, I walk every day too. So, you know, I can give that person the pass. They don't know. But part of my walk is walking literally by the theater. So I can see right in the glass or whatever. I wave to the manager, Mark, when I told you I know, and stuff like that all the time. So no, it's open. It's just dead. But she's right. Now it won't be open much longer. So,
Right.
but let's spin this forward though. So they're all pushing back. But let's say Wonder Woman is only Christmas, right? Not just that's less than 3 months from now, you know, at this time. So the cases are going up throughout the entire United States, including New Jersey and stuff like that, right now. So, like, is there a quote unquote, I guess, end game for this? Because, like, can they try again at Christmas? Do they think that'll work? April? Like what are your thoughts on that?
So I haven't been following the numbers,
Right.
but it's crazy when you think about it. You just said the numbers are going up. I haven't talked about the numbers in a while, right?
Yeah, me either, yeah.
If the numbers are going up, it just shows that, you know, people, whenever numbers go up, people are going to blame it on a lot of stuff, right? And
Right.
it's realistically. I just said the president could get it because he's around people. If you go to the movie theater, I mean, I feel like the movie theater is a better case, right? You go to a movie theater, maybe they shouldn't serve food, but then they need that food to make money. Because I'm just thinking of what you touch that could give it to you, right? So if you go straight into the theater, they just scan your phone. You already paid online. They scan your phone. You go sit down. The seat was already sanitized. Then you should be good in theory. But if you go to get food, somebody have to hand you that food, whether they got a glove on or not, and then that's potential right there because you're already grabbing the thing and you're going to be eating and putting it in your mouth, right? So knowing that the numbers are going up, then that just means that people could say, well, because the theaters are open. And if they don't have a big enough movie to make you enough people to come in to make revenue, and if you're not going to, because probably food shouldn't be the way to go then, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know what they could do.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. You know, the pushbacks are fine, but what's the end game? Because when are you going to have people being able to be comfortable going in there and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, if they weren't comfortable now, when the cases were super duper low at one point, especially in New Jersey,
Okay.
then when will they be comfortable? Like, would that mean like Christmas when Wonder Woman tries to come out? You know, I guess my question is that were the movies ever to be able to make? Okay, we know why they're pushing it back, right? The studios are pushing it back because they want to say, we want to be able to make more money than we can make right now. Will they ever be able to make more money over the next year than they can make right now? Stuff like that.
The only thing's gonna save the world, right? And other things making more money and stuff. I know there's some companies that's doing good, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But something like the movie theater, the only thing gonna save them is a vaccine. They're gonna have to come out. I think maybe Q1 2021 we might get, you know, between January and March, or before April, or before April's over. I got a feeling they're probably gonna come out with something. They even said Trump had take some experimental something. I got a feeling something's gonna come out. I don't know. I guess they're gonna have a rate of what is it, and then what does it do? It stops, prevents, blah blah blah. But in order for the movies, because closing, opening, closing, I don't see the movie really being able to be sustainable if they can't prove that they can make a certain amount of money on movies. And look at Tenet. You would have thought Tenet maybe could have been the thing, but no. Now, I feel like Black Widow has the potential to bring a lot of people in, but you just said that numbers are going up, right? So then then numbers gonna go up more. But I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some people that say, "Oh, I got COVID from the movie theater."
Yeah, so that's my thing. They were scared now to go because it's more about the fear because they were open. When will people not be scared? So you're thinking when the vaccine comes out, basically.
Right.
It will be only time.
Yeah,
So
I feel like, yeah.
So in the meantime, let's say movies that got pushed back to December, like Wonder Woman 2021, where it probably won't be the vaccine by then, especially a vaccine where it's given to enough people for it to really work and stuff like that. Do you think they should just take the loss at this point or keep pushing it back until they can?
So I was always thinking that might be the one movie to spark people going to the movies. People, I feel like once you did something, then you're like, all right. So I always felt like that was the big budget movie of the year,
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But I don't know if they want to. I'm curious how much money Tenet made. So that's one thing.
Tenet worldwide, well, globally it's not great at all, but worldwide, I think I'm gonna be up to like 350, but it needs 500 million just to break even and whatnot. So, and with theirs closing, you're probably never gonna break even. It's probably gonna lose money on that.
So, because I was looking at it like that. So I doubt they're gonna chance putting that out. And especially they might speculate maybe in the next 6 months we might have a vaccine. So why not just wait at this point?
Look at this, bro. Tenet has grossed 250 million globally. However, only 36 million comes from the North American total on that. So basically in the United States, we're not going at all. Why not? So a lot. So your thoughts, I know you gotta go. That you should just wait. Let's just wait. Keep waiting until they can put them out. Like hold on to the movies, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see it. I'm going, but I respect. Like I told a car dealership, I said, listen, I know y'all got to make money. A business is made to make money. So I'm not saying, and I'm one of these people. I'm different from a lot of people. I don't like handouts. I don't want nothing for free. I want you to prosper off of me getting this item for you, right?
Right.
However, so in saying that, I want the movie theater to put out a movie when they think they can make money for it. There's so many people to gain.
Or the other part is, do you think you cut your losses and just make whatever you can make on the VOD or streaming? And say, you know what, we got these movies, we're holding to it for over a year now. Let's just put it out, see what's going to happen, and move forward on that.
I mean, not for nothing. There's a lot of people at home. I mean, dude, I would pay to see Black Widow at home.
Yeah. Well, I think so going backward, I think that was the issue, honestly. I think people got used to watching stuff at home. Over the 6 months, the movie theater was closed. And they were like, why am I going here? I'm already good watching this stuff at home, whatever like that. Especially if you done upgraded your sound and your theater, whatever you got going on or whatever like that. I think it just got, what else someone told me? And you might be able to have an idea on this. My girlfriend, she said that she feels like the movies came back on too late. So when you had like you, right? You went to Great Adventure on like June or whatever, something like that. And then you got like the beach was open. And then you had like the restaurants were open and yada, yada, yada. Drive-in. But movie theaters open to what, late August? We went to see that? And she thinks that people got used to the things they were comfortable with. And by then they were like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave the movies alone. Like they might have waited too late to open. What do you think about that?
The only thing I disagree with that, I just think the movies didn't have that super movie. I feel like they need I feel like it's a chain reaction. They needed that one movie that everybody was going to see. And sorry to say it, but Tenet wasn't it. I said it a while ago. The trailer just didn't get. I feel like I'm a little above the average movie person, but I'm not on your level as far as movies. So there's people and there's so many people below me, right? So I almost go see everything. But there's stuff that I don't go see, right? And you would probably you'll see more movies than me, right? But there's a lot of people that I feel like Tenet wasn't gonna wow you. Black Widow, I feel like Black Widow should have came out a while ago, and it could have did a chain reaction. You would have so many people that went. It's like redundant. Like we messed with. Shout out to Claudiz. She'd be like, "Oh, I won't go to the movie theater," but she going to the mall, the Sephora, or to wherever. So it's almost like once some people do something, it's like, I mean, you already went to that, so you can go to this. That's typically the logic. So if you already went to go see Black Widow, then you'd be like, dude, I already went to the movies. And they coming out with Unhinged. That's kind of my movie. Yes, it's not a huge movie, but you already risked it. You already sat in the seat.
Right.
You already was like, So that was always
Yeah.
my feelings.
Yeah. So if it was like, if Endgame was this year, we might have been okay, basically saying. So.
Yeah, I mean, if Endgame, if you had that big blockbuster movie, listen, the movie theaters know we're gonna hold a certain capacity, right? We're gonna try to do what we can to not have too many people up on top of each other, whatever, right? So I feel like they came out with a good strategy. They just didn't have the movie to move the seats, to move the butts, pretty much, to be in seats.
Yeah. Last thing I'm gonna say on this is that I think people, the average movie goer, not as deep as I am into it, like you said, neither are you. So I feel like when they say, "Oh, well, movie's closed," they don't realize that this is a trickle down effect, and this could be the start of maybe an apocalypse in the movie in the filming industry and whatnot, as far as a or not an apocalypse, but a shift is what I'll say, because if these big budget movies can't make these big budget revenues, they're gonna stop making big budget movies. So you're gonna start to see much lower budget movies and having most of them on streaming. So you're gonna have to get used to more like older type movies, you know what I mean, where you just focus on the acting. A lot of that CGI or special effects or whatever like that, they can't afford it because they won't get the money back and stuff like that. So through the years, if this doesn't really have a paradigm shift back to normal or close to normal for the next year, you're gonna see the whole entertainment change. But people don't think about that because they're just moviegoers. But I think about stuff like that. So yeah, it's something that you definitely gotta look out for.
Yeah, I mean, if things happen and it start trends and it start fads and then it creates something new. Like we alluded to earlier, I was saying how the video games, the battle royale is a new thing that wasn't done before. Things are gonna happen and have been happening, and it create new things. So this movie thing we might be seeing the last of. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, like a huge Lord of the Rings was huge, effects and 500 extras in the war and stuff like that. Like they can't even afford that type of stuff because the money's not coming back to them in that way. So we might be seeing the last of it, but have we got a chance to experience it? That's all I can say.
Well, no, I'll say that too, but unless we just listen, if there is no more movie theater, right? Pretty much. Like, what if the movie theaters be as limited as the drive-in theaters are? Like, there's barely that many drive-in theaters. So what if the movie theaters is more like a special thing? When you go to see IMAX, like I remember when the IMAX first started, it was only one in California, New York, and Atlantic City, right? So 3 in the United States, right? So maybe movie theaters might use use movie theaters for some other type of thing. I don't know, it could be a dealership or it could be a mall or whatever, and there'd be very few movie theaters around, and it'd be like, oh, that one movie you could see it in the movies and not at home.
My friend, though, they were surprised. Like Chris and Ricky, you know about them. You know Chris, but they were surprised.
Yeah, shout outs to Chris B. He actually was watching Sandy and Anthony show this week. He was on.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, that was really cool, really cool. And he commented a lot too. It was a good show too. Yeah, he had a lot to say. Yeah, it was really cool.
I gotta go back and check it out or whatever. Yeah. I'm telling next week you better watch Poetic Charm. But anyway, no, I'm joking. I don't care. But he was saying that he's surprised that the gyms are still as packed as they are. Because again, the complex where I live at has a gym and a movie theater. So I can walk past the movie theater and see 3 cars and walk past the gym and see 20 cars or whatever. Same time
and
of day.
Again, it makes sense. The gyms, when you left, when you couldn't go to the gym anymore and you start going to the gym, guess what they still had? Everything you use, right? Last time you left all going to the movie theaters, we had like some of the biggest movies, like we left off on like, oh man, Endgame, we can't wait to see the next this, the next that. Tenet was coming out, then this happened. Movies open back up. They should have launched the movies with some huge movie, and then people would have went to go to the movies. You'd have had people, I think the movie theaters, the companies was afraid. Well, let me wait and see what happens. But again, it's a trickle down effect. You didn't want to put your big budget movie because you was afraid you didn't make money, but your big budget movie could have been the movie to start the trend.
I also told him a couple things too. I said, yo, first of all, with the gyms, most people, like a real person who goes in there and regular, they're like, you only need a half hour. I'm getting in, doing workout, getting out, stuff like that. Right. And most of the time, they, when you're in there, you can watch and see who's coming close to you. You can keep your mask on. You can work out literally at a distance if you wanted to and whatnot. Where a movie theater, you're sitting stationary for at least 2 hours, if not more. So I think it's a different type of concept for people when it comes to that.
Yeah, I hear you. But I feel like the gym is less safe than a movie theater, though, if you ask me. I'd rather take my chance with I'm going and sitting in one spot, and that's it. And I'm getting up and leaving. But the gym, you're moving. So you're talking about if stuff is in the air. Yeah, we all got to keep our mask off. Now they saying that masks shoot backwards. There was a thing saying that when people cough and sneeze, and some people mask because it's a little loose, that the airflow is going and could hit people behind them. So I feel like the gym, people are moving all around, switching from here to there. The possibility for me to get material from the air is higher in the gym than it's sitting in one seat in the movie theater.
I agree. And Chris made a point. He said, I'm afraid when people can't breathe in their mask because they're working out and down there, taking it off, but also and breathing harder than normal because they're tired from the workout, it could spread even further than normal, stuff like that. I was thinking about the time frame you're there. You're at the gym much less time you're at the movie theater.
True. Yeah, but the activity is higher, though. The interaction is higher at the gym.
Yeah,
a lot higher.
That's true. But the other part I was going to say is because the equipment, a lot of times they had the gyms, especially during the pandemic because it became scarce. It's harder to get at your house and stuff like that. Where, to my original point, people that got used to watching the movie at their house. They're like, I'm good, or whatever like that. But a lot of that stuff, like you couldn't even find weights for like 4 or 5 months anywhere, which were normal buy and stuff like that. So I think they were like, I need the gym. Okay, but people think they need the gym, especially when it comes to like getting in shape and looking better than they need the movies. Or whatever, if you agree with that.
No, I agree. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely agree with that.
Yeah. All right, man, let's move forward, man. You got something to do, man. We're going to end this show here. We already gave you one versus, so we're not doing one this week. We'll bring you back to you next week, hopefully. Also, we're going to have a boys review out, as I said before, probably by Wednesday, I would assume. And then an episode of Beyond the Trenches on later this week, and also want to review another movie at home. We have to now. And I'll talk about that with Anthony a little bit, see what we can bring you next. But for all that said, please like, comment, and subscribe. As usual, this is Big Mike and Little Ant, the BigMike.LittleAnt channel.
Yeah, and my last thing I'll say is, guys, make sure you look out for a playlist for Poetic Charm and a playlist for Food for the Culture that will be added to this as well. So we're a little umbrella because our buddy Josh Warren and Mike and myself, we all do some other stuff outside of the Big Mike and Little Ant channel. So it'll be cool to have those playlists on here so you guys can see what we do as well and show some love to them as well, because it's all great content.
All right, man. Well, for that, we're out. See you next week.
All right.